What's going on, y'all? Cygnus Jason here with GameSide. I don't know where you guys hail from, but in my neck of the woods, summer is on its way out, and the cold weather is moving in quick, which means it's time to get cozy and get some gaming done, if you haven't already been doing that with the whole, quarantine thing that's been going on. Today, we're diving into a deceptively large game called Genshin Impact, a Chinese action-adventure RPG developed by MiHoYo and Shanghai Miha Touring Film Technology Company. Now, some of you may be here to verify some suspicions or rumors you've heard about the game, so I'll tackle some of those now. Is the game closely similar to Breath of the Wild? Yes, there is climbing, cooking, and a colorful, wide-open region ripe for exploration. Is the game free? Yes, Genshin Impact is completely free to download and play. Are there microtransactions? Yes, Genshin Impact is what's called a gacha game, and if you've ever played a mobile game that involves different characters and rarities, you've seen this before. You use special currencies to roll for better playable characters, and that currency can be earned both by playing the game or by buying it with real money. Most often, the loot pool is cluttered with useless garbage to make it harder to get anything decent, but my luck has been good since I've started the game. I will say this, at no point have I felt like the transactions were predatory or like I had no choice but to shell out a few bucks in order to progress in the game. I'm almost 20 hours in and it feels like I've barely scratched the surface of what such a free game has to offer. If you're still with us by this point, that means you're here for a more detailed explanation, so let's get back into the swing of things. Genshin Impact starts off with you and your brother, or sister, depending on which you choose to play as, fighting some unknown woman. The woman gets the better of you two, and you both are sent away. We pick up after what's hinted to be a few months, and you're talking to Paimon, who is your companion / helper / guide for the duration of the game, and does most of the talking for you since your character is pretty much silent. She will walk you through the basics until you run into Amber, a member of the Knights of Favonius. She leads you to the Knights' headquarters in the city of Mondstadt, where you will no doubt spend a good chunk of your playtime. You end up assisting the Knights in whatever missions or side quests they give you, with the ultimate goal being to find your sibling and defeat anything or anyone that stands in your way. The scenery of the region surrounding Mondstadt is complemented nicely by the occupying wildlife and wandering NPCs doing their own thing. Sprinkled throughout the regions in Genshin Impact are various monsters, treasure chests, dungeons, collectibles, cooking ingredients, random NPC encounters, and plenty more. This region is gigantic, and as of right now, your only means of travel to parts unknown are your glider and your own 2 feet. I suggest climbing up to the highest cliff you can find and just gliding towards your objective to cut down on travel time. It's also a great way to spot distant treasure chests or enemy camps. Gliding, running, climbing, and swimming all take stamina, and your starting stamina amount is ridiculously small, so I'm really hoping one day they add in mounts like a simple horse or a giant bird or anything else to make ground travel less tedious. Fortunately, each region has a statue of the 7, which you can activate to reveal that specific locale on your map, and every locale is sprinkled with a handful of waypoints that you can activate for fast travel. You will be needing them. Running around opening chests, completing dungeons, making offerings to a statue of the 7, completing any quests, or grabbing collectibles generate XP towards your adventure rank. Your adventure rank is an overarching leveling system separate from your character levels, which determines what dungeons you can enter and what quests you can undertake. Leveling up your adventure rank can unlock a multitude of things, and for each rank you gain, there will be a rewards bundle waiting for you at the Adventurers Guild Secretary in each major city, so make sure to swing by and see her whenever your rank increases. While we're on the subject, Mondstadt also has most of the things you'd expect from a large city in an RPG. A blacksmith for weapon crafting purposes, a souvenir shop that sells special materials, an alchemist who allows you to craft potions or oils for character buffs, a general merchant who has a rotating stock of common food ingredients, and a restaurant which sells finished food dishes as well as food ingredients. Food is one of the few ways your characters can restore health, and it also gives special buffs, so always keep a few food dishes or ingredients on you when you're out and about, and cook as often as possible to increase your cooking proficiencies. Once you reach adventure rank 20, you'll unlock world levels and the battle pass. Much like any other game that has one, the free battle pass rewards are fine, but to get way more rewards, you'd have to pay somewhere around $10 or $20. I'm going to ignore the pass since I already find an excess of rewards just by playing the game. World levels do 2 things: increase the quality of all the rewards you find from chests or dungeons or wherever else, and raise the base level of all enemies in the game world. Essentially, more challenge for more rewards. They work very similarly to the world tiers in The Division. Now, While you are out and about, of course you'll run into enemies, and when you see enemies, you know what you gotta do. There are quite a few aspects that support your combat abilities. First, characters and weapons. Whether it be through completing certain quests, reaching a certain adventure rank, or rolling for them via wishes and special currency, you will have to utilize up to 4 playable characters at once, all of whom you can switch between on the fly. You can also edit group loadouts to save time on individually swapping characters in or out of your currently deployed group. Each character will utilize a specific weapon. Your main character, whatever sibling you chose in the beginning, will use a one-handed sword, perfect for quick combos and speedy maneuverability. Second, we've got the bow, a mid-range weapon with the added bonus of letting you aim it for charged long-range shots. Third, we have the greatsword, which of course excels at crowd clearing and dishing out hard-hitting attacks. Fourth, the grimoires for mid-range spellcasting and powerful elemental abilities. Lastly, the spear, which I find does best with one single target because the attacks are so quick and precise. They'll most likely add in other weapons down the line, such as dual-wielding swords, fist weapons, or even guns. If multiple characters can use the same weapon type, that's cool because characters will use their weapons differently. For example, your main character does a pretty standard one-handed sword combo, but Kaya, using the same weapon, can attack a little quicker and even teleport behind his enemy with the final hit of the combo. This is a great way to mix things up and keep each weapon feeling different between each character. Next, you have to understand elemental interactions. Genshin Impact features 7 elements: Anemo, Pyro, Hydro, Electro, Geo, Cryo, and Dendro. Most all of the elements interact with each other in some form or fashion. Ice can freeze a wet enemy, wind can lift up fire and trap a group of enemies in a blazing vortex, fire can ignite the wooden shield of an enemy, causing them to drop it and be open to subsequent attacks, and so on. The same goes for you too, so don't run up to an electric or ice enemy after stepping in water, unless you want to get electrocuted or frozen solid. Since you're able to switch characters quickly, experiment with their elemental interactions or consult the interactions chart in the group menu if you want to make sure your group's elements complement each other. Mondstadt is an Anemo region, meaning they worship the god of the animal element, which is wind. When you eventually get to Liyue Harbor, that region is under the Geo god, which is earth, and if you worship a statue of the 7 there, your main character's element will change from Anemo to Geo, giving him or her different combat talents. To change back to Anemo, simply worship a statue of the 7 back in Mondstadt. It's safe to say that more regions will be released in the future and you'll be able to switch between more elements as time goes on. Each character comes with 5 combat talents. 3 are active and 2 are passive. Some characters come with a 6th talent, most often providing some bonus towards some type of crafting like cooking or alchemy or blacksmithing. When you first acquire a character, they will only have their active combat talents available. Each time your character hits their level cap and you ascend that character, they'll gain their passive talents, and the effectiveness of their other talents will raise as well. Your active talents are what you use in combat, and the additional effects of your talents can be enhanced via the constellation of each character. Constellations have 6 levels, and those levels can be gained using a character-specific rare material. Finally, we have artifacts. Artifacts are accessory items that you can equip to gain certain bonuses like critical damage or attack power or group-wide healing. Artifacts can be found in 5 forms: a brooch, a feather accessory, a pocket watch, a cup, and a headpiece. Furthermore, artifacts come in sets. Each set has 2 bonuses. Bonus 1 activates when you're wearing 2 set items, and bonus 2 activates when you're wearing 4 set items. Each character has 5 artifact slots, so feel free to mix and match for whatever bonuses you feel are necessary in your character's build. One thing to keep in mind, Genshin Impact is a material world. What I mean is, although every character, weapon, artifact, and ability can be leveled up to increase their attack, health, or other stats, everything needs materials to do so. Character levels take writs and gold acquired from quest or dungeon completions, since just grinding XP in the open world will get you almost no XP. As I mentioned before, characters can undergo ascension once they hit their level cap, and that also takes materials. Weapons will be found just about anywhere, and the higher the rarity, the more powerful they will be, but the more it will take to level them up. You use weapons as the materials to upgrade weapons, and there's definitely no shortage of trash weapons lying around out in the world. Weapons can be ascended just like characters, and they can also be refined. Refining takes one weapon as a base, let's say this debate club here, and uses another identical weapon, so another debate club, and fuses the two to upgrade the innate bonuses that normally come with these higher rarity weapons. Artifacts are upgraded similarly in that any trash artifacts you have can be fed into the artifact you want to level up. All I'm saying is, every material or item you pick up has a purpose, so don't be afraid to be a kleptomaniac and loot everything, everywhere, every time. For those of you who feel this game is a mighty undertaking, what with all the openness and material gathering, you'd be right, but it doesn't have to be boring. At Adventure Rank 16, you gain access to the co-op gameplay. Yes, you and a few randoms can link up to wander the regions or undertake dungeons together. If you know another person you want to play with, you can enter their user ID, which is always located on the bottom right of every player's screen, and directly request to join their game. While in a co-op session, there can be a maximum of 3 players, the host and 2 others. Since a standard character group consists of 4 characters, the host can swap between 2 of their characters while the other 2 players only get to use 1 character, having to switch through the party setup menu. If a player leaves the session, the host and the remaining player can now both switch between 2 characters. This is normally the part of the breakdown where I tell you that Genshin Impact is totally worth the money, and I would, if the game actually costs money. As I mentioned earlier, spending money can get you more and more chances for new characters or weapons or even greater quantities of the rewards you already get, but I have yet to spend a dime on the game and there's just so much to see and do. Meanwhile, it doesn't feel like a grind and I haven't gotten bored. Not only that, the required currency to roll for new characters or weapons can be gained easily and at a steady rate just by playing the game. So again, no reason to spend any money. Genshin Impact is available to play now, although it's not on Steam or Epic Games. Yes, you heard that right. The game is available in the Android or Apple app stores, on the PlayStation Store, and it's available for PC. The download link for the PC version is in this video's description. So if this video has piqued your interest, get downloading and get started on your grand adventure. That's all I've got to say about Genshin Impact. As usual, if you want to see more content, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like. This has been Cygnus Jason, and I will catch you all on the game side.